So will Mike Mentzer's ideal routine give you the best gains when it comes to a high intensity training program? Well, in today's video, we're going to look at Mike Mentzer's ideal routine, and we're going to establish if it is in fact the best place to start when it comes to entering a high intensity training program, or we're going to see if it's not even a good training routine at all, and if you should do something completely different if you want to maximize your gains using high intensity training. What's up guys, Jay Vincent here. Today's video, we're going over Mike Mentzer's ideal routine. Now with the new resurgence of high intensity training in the fitness industry, this is probably a routine a lot of people are going to come across and assume, since Mike Mentzer promoted it, that it is the best place to start and the best routine if you want to maximize your gains in the gym. Let's go over Mike Mentzer's ideal routine. Is it a great routine? Or can it be better? Are there better routines to maximize your gains in the gym, even though Mike Mentzer said this was the way to go? So let's look into it. But before I do that, hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification icon so you can be notified when I drop more evidence-based approaches to training and teaching you ways to optimize your physique in as minimal time possible in the gym using high-intensity training. So Mike Mentzer came up with his ideal routine decades ago, as far back as the 80s and 90s. And he proposed that this is the routine he would start most of his clients on when they first started doing high intensity training with him as their trainer. So what did his ideal routine look like? Well, it was a 4-day split, breaking up the muscle groups into chest and back, legs, arms, and delts. And he generally prescribed about 4 days of rest in between each workout. Now, when you look at this workout, it would seem ridiculously low volume compared to what most people are doing in the gym. But keep in mind, with Mike Mentzer as your trainer, he was getting every ounce of intensity out of you, in which case your tolerance is going to be reduced and your recovery time between workouts has to increase in order to see progress from these intense workouts. So what did it look like? Day one, he called chest and back, and this included 4 exercises. First, you would warm up, generally do a relatively light set of the first exercise. In this case, it would be the chest press. So what did it look like? Day one was chest and back. But he would start off the workout with a superset between chest or pec fly and an incline chest press. A superset means you would go from the first exercise, which would be the pec fly, directly to the second exercise, the incline chest press, without any rest at all in between. You would do each exercise in this workout one set all the way to true muscular failure. So the first exercise was pec flies, preferably a pec deck, 6 to 10 reps all the way to muscular failure. As soon as you achieve muscle failure, you would immediately go over to the incline chest press machine with your weight already selected and perform that exercise 6 to 10 reps to failure as well. And that would be all you would do for chest. The third and final exercise in the chest and back routine was the deadlift. And just like the other 2 exercises, you would perform just one set to absolute muscular failure. And that's it. That was day one of the ideal routine. 3 exercises, 3 sets to failure, and then he would prescribe 4 days of rest and recovery in between before going into workout number 2. Workout number 2 was just legs. And again, he started off this workout with a superset. This is something I've done in my studios as well. It was a superset of leg extension immediately into leg press. Now, if anyone's ever done this before, this is downright brutal. The leg extension would be performed to about 15 repetitions all the way to momentary muscle failure, and you would immediately, with no rest at all, go into your leg press exercise all the way to complete muscular failure. Nautilus actually made a machine which allows you to do this in the same machine. The machine allowed you to do a leg extension and immediately put your feet up and go into a leg press, making the rest period even shorter and the exercise way more intense. The last exercise of the day 2 workout, legs, would just be a standing calf raise. Again, just one set to failure. Now that was the whole workout for day 2, legs, 4 days of rest and recovery, and then on to workout number 3. Workout number 3 was delts and arms. You began the workout with one set to failure of dumbbell lateral raises. The second exercise was bent over lateral raises to target the rear deltoids. Following that, barbell biceps curls, and then triceps pushdowns. All exercises, 1 set to failure. And again, upon completion of that workout, 4 days of rest and recovery, and then on to the last workout of the split, day 4, legs. The second workout for legs on day 4 would look a little bit different than the first leg workout. Instead of the leg press exercise, you would substitute that for barbell squats. The same superset, leg extension, superset into barbell squats, both all the way to momentary muscle failure. And then the third exercise again, standing calf raises. And that was the entirety of Mike Mentzer's ideal routine. 4 different workouts, chest and back, arms and delts, and legs. Now, in my opinion, this is a very effective workout. Of course you would see gains from this, but is it ideal as Mike Mentzer suggested? The answer is no. There's no one ideal routine that is going to be ideal for everybody. Everybody's different in their ability to recover from workouts and their tolerance for exercise volume. Believe it or not, this very short, low volume routine may be too much for some people. Some people may need even less volume and more recovery, considering you are training with optimal and the highest level intensity. Most people, however, are not going to train with optimal highest level of intensity, which may make this workout actually suboptimal. And this is the biggest problem in high intensity training today. People are told train to failure, but nobody even really knows what that means. If I took 100 individuals, lined them up and said, everybody train to failure with a set of barbell curls, you'd probably see 100 different things. The only way to truly learn how to train all the way to muscle failure is to be personally taught how to do this. Either personally instructed by a trainer or an extremely knowledgeable coach like myself. If you want to learn how to train to failure and optimize your results and really transform your body, join my VIP coaching program. There's a link in the description below for that. So the biggest problem is most people aren't training anywhere near failure. They're training enough to stimulate something, but unless you're really training deep into muscle failure, this ideal routine probably isn't going to be optimal for you. And then again, if you took an individual as experienced as myself, who's been doing this for a decade and can train really hard to failure because the individual knows how, or this may even be too much, believe it or not. So it all comes down to a couple of things. One, the intensity of effort, how hard you're actually training. The harder you train, the less exercise volume you're going to be able to handle and the more recovery you're likely going to need. Number 2, your individual recovery ability. Everybody's ability to recover from a workout is different. And number 3, your individual tolerance for the exercise volume. One individual might produce more inflammation as a result of the workout, more central nervous system fatigue, more overall stress in their body, and they simply might not be able to handle as much volume as this routine suggests. Or they might not be able to handle as much volume as most people can. Again, you got to look at everything like a bell curve. There's going to be some outliers, some people who can handle a ton of volume like professional bodybuilders, some people who can hardly tolerate any exercise volume at all. For instance, I had a client in my studios who would see absolutely no progress unless she trained once every 11 or 12 days. This is rare, but these individuals do exist. Most of you are going to fall somewhere in the middle, in which case 4 days of recovery should work for the majority of people. But that doesn't mean it's optimal. Just because something happens to work does not mean it's optimal. You have to take these other factors into consideration to create the ideal routine for you. So in conclusion, is Mike Mentzer's ideal routine effective? Yes. Is it ideal or optimal? Of course not. Because in order to create the optimal routine for you, you're going to need to understand exercise to a higher degree. Because in order for a program to be ideal and perfect for you, you need to make several adjustments along the way and understand your body and how it recovers. This is why cookie cutter programs do not work for a huge percentage of individuals. Not to say they don't work for some people, and of course they do, and these are the testimonials you're going to see from Starting Strength and other cookie cutter programs. But what it doesn't show is the huge amount of people that it doesn't work for because they have not adjusted this particular program for your individual tolerances and abilities. Over the last 20 or 30 years or so, since Mike Mentzer has passed away, we've learned a lot about exercise science. And this new information in exercise science is what I use to develop my Golden Era system, which is a more refined version of high intensity training, a little more refined than what Mike Mentzer was doing in the past. So if you want a refined version of high intensity training that shows you how to adjust the workout to make it optimal for you, go to goldenerasystem.com and try my program. But of course, you can try Mike Mentzer's ideal routine. You'll see improvements in strength. You'll see improvements in muscular size. But the truth is, it very likely is not going to be perfect or optimal for you. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell notification icon so you'll be notified when I drop more high intensity training videos and more evidence-based training advice.